joining us now, former Trump administration National Security Advisor John Bolton. Mr. Ambassador, we'll get to Trump and the campaign and all of that in a moment. But first, I want to ask you, CNN's learning about some pretty sophisticated hacking attempts by Iran. One of them involved a phishing scheme targeting a confidant of yours. This was just months before the Justice Department charged a member of the IRGC with trying to kill you in retaliation for Qasem Soleimani's assassination in 2020. U.S. officials obviously very worried about how Iran might try and interfere in the upcoming election. What's your reaction to this new information as this has continued to evolve?
Well, look, I think Iran is very active in a variety of ways, trying to influence American public opinion, trying to take out some of its citizens, including former government officials, and is interfering in ways that are not widely known in the general public. I think this is important to understand because it's not just the threat of Iran, which is very, very serious, but so is China, so is Russia, probably so is North Korea. It's a very inviting target. We're an open society, which is exactly what we should be, but our enemies are trying to take advantage of us. And frankly, this is one reason why I wish we had two better candidates for president this year to talk about national security.
You know, one of those candidates, obviously, you used to work for. We just saw Tom Foreman's report about some of the things that Trump was reposting offensive, lewd suggestions on his Truth Social account. I think one of the questions I've always had is behind the scenes and kind of the most important moments inside a White House, when you would see stuff like this, what would you say to him?
Well, after a while, it's not productive to say anything to him because he's not going to change. It's one reason why I don't think he's fit to be president. He doesn't have a philosophy. He doesn't do policy as most of the Washington world understands that. It's hard to keep him on the same line of thought for an extended period of time. And I just think it makes his decisions a kind of random walk.
He presents himself as, if he were there, none of the things that have happened in terms of world crises would have actually happened, in the sense of Russia would not have invaded. We would not have seen the Hamas October 7th attacks. Is there truth to that? He clearly believes it. His supporters clearly believe it.
Well, some do, but it's the kind of statement that's obviously neither provable nor disprovable since it didn't happen. I think he has a very bad idea of what foreign leaders, particularly our adversaries, think of him. He thinks he has a great personal relationship with Vladimir Putin, with Xi Jinping, and he thinks that his personal relationship with other heads of state defines whether the U.S. and that country actually have good relations, which is far from the truth. I've met with, seen, talked to these foreign leaders. My take is they think that Trump is an easy mark. And indeed, they do want to see him in the White House because they think they can take advantage of him.
Before I let you go, I do want to ask about what we've seen kind of coming out of the Arlington Cemetery visit that we saw from the former president. And I want to be very clear about the president was invited at the request of family members from some of those who were killed, the 13 that were killed in the Abbey Gate explosion and the very chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan. He has been close to these families. Many of them spoke at the convention, not in a political way. However, the fact that the Army ended up putting out a public statement today, which said, quote, the Trump team was made aware of federal laws and, quote, abruptly pushed an employee. They added, quote, this incident was unfortunate. The ANC employee and her professionalism have been unfairly attacked. This doesn't happen very often. I was actually quite surprised when I saw that the Army put it out earlier. What's your take about what's happened this week?
Well, I think it is unusual for the Army as such to say something. I wish it had been the Chief of Staff of the Army personally to say it, to show it was the uniformed military that had this view. And to be clear, what Trump may have done at Arlington with the families, whatever he said to them, pictures that were taken, that's not anything that's wrong. What was wrong was what he did after they left the cemetery. By taking the films and so on and turning them into political advertisements. That is what's forbidden, and that's what he did, and I think that's why people are legitimately upset.
Trump's campaign manager, or co-campaign manager, Chris LaCivita, he retweeted a video of Trump on Monday at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at Arlington Cemetery, which, to be clear, he could take that video. There was nothing wrong with him taking that video. Press was there taking video as well. But as he posted it or retweeted it, he said, hoping to trigger the hacks at Secretary of Army. Now, to be clear, Chris is a Marine veteran. He's also a Purple Heart recipient. I have tremendous respect for his service. But they're aggressively attacking on this issue, and I guess I don't really understand why.
Well, obviously they think it will help them, but it simply proves the point. They're using the whole thing for political purposes. That's expressly what Congress was trying to prevent, and in the regulations that make it clear that that's not what Arlington National Cemetery is for. I can't predict what the political outcome will be, but I just think it's shameful behavior.
Ambassador John Bolton, always appreciate your time, sir. Thanks so much.
Thank you.